Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2023, and today I want to talk to you about holding your peace and why that can be toxic for people who identify as passive. I realize that for many years, I have been passive for the sake of keeping the peace. I've always valued connection over competition. I have tried my best to always hold my peace, and this has been a major source of distress for me in some ways because I have not always said what I was feeling for the sake of keeping the peace. I have held my peace, I have held the peace of other people, and I've allowed them the space to rage out and exercise their crazy while I'm sitting up here being this receptacle for other people's insanity. And the moment that I need to vent or process my crazy or my confusion, all of a sudden, I don't get an audience. I don't get a listening ear. I don't get the same compassion that I give out. I don't get the same space held for me that I hold for other people. And it's that inequity that is a source of tension and distress for me. I can no longer do that. I can't hold space for people that don't hold space for me. Now, there's something to be said about holding your peace. It definitely helps learn self-control. It definitely helps on so many different levels, but at the same time, you're not getting your need to vent, express. You're not getting your need to sometimes have a bad day. I'm human. I don't always have this peaceful, calm demeanor, but I realize that people have come to benefit from that and come to rely on that peaceful, calm demeanor. And when you're no longer that person, all of a sudden they reject you. It feels like you're abandoned, you know, when you no longer want to play that role. And I realize that I can no longer be somebody else's peace when they don't mind seeing me fall to pieces, trying to hold their peace and hold space for them. I can't do that. I now only hold space for people that hold space for me. If you can't accept the fact that I am a human being and that I have multiple sides to me, I don't just have this one-dimensional persona. If you can't accept that, then we cannot be friends, we cannot be partners, we cannot be anything of the sort, because I'm more than one-dimensional. I have many different sides to me. I'm multi-dimensional. And people have got to understand that people out here are multi-dimensional. They're not just one thing. You know, people oftentimes say, okay, I'm going to go to him because he provides empathy. But then you become known as the toilet bowl, the one that people go to just to process their emotions. And you see it as, I'm trying to offer the support, because oftentimes when you are a giver and when you are an empath and you are a wonderful, kind, loving, giving person, people will use that and exploit that. Unfortunately, they use it to their advantage and they'll exploit you. You'll be typecast as the one who is a receptacle for people's negative emotions, you know? And I think that growing up, I learned how to be a trauma container. Like many people who grew up in homes that were rocked by substance abuse, that were rocked by just instability, chaos, that were rocked by, you know, lack of adequate caretakers. You know, you grow up learning how to be a trauma response. That too. But you learn how to be a trauma container. You learn how to absorb all the negative feelings of other people just to get your basic needs met. You learn how to silence your needs for the sake of other people and quiet your needs in order to be the support to other people that you need. You feel in your mind, in your thinking, in your childish thinking, that if you are the support that they need, they will in turn be the support that you need. You know? If you take care of their feelings, then they'll have the energy to take care of yours. And in a way, that's a form of codependence. That is a form of codependent. That type of thinking is codependent. You feel that you got to take care of other people in order for them to take care of you and your needs. No. Thing about it is, you're responsible for getting your needs met. Nobody in this world is responsible for meeting your needs. You have to meet your own needs. And I realize that, you know something, if I want space held for me, I'm going to have to hold space for myself. I'm going to have to carve out space. I'm going to have to force other people to listen to me by carving out that space for myself and by making sure that if it's not reciprocal, then I'm not participating. I don't participate in anything that's not reciprocal. No. You know, I was watching this Whitney Houston interview, and in the interview it mentioned how she was being a bit combative. She was a bit annoyed. You could tell that she was annoyed. And she said something that was true. You know, she said, the interviewer asked her, how do you deal with the difficulties of fame? She's like, I just sing on them. That's right. I sing on them. And she said it just like that. I sing on them. You know, I sing them underneath the table. And what she meant is that she just lets her light shine. And she doesn't care who is offended by her light. She just lets it shine on them. And if you are offended by my light, that's tough. Put on shades or walk out the room, because I'm going to keep on glowing. If my light hurts your eyes, well, that's tough. I'm unapologetically shining. And I encourage everybody to adopt that mindset of unapologetic shine. Do not let anybody dim your light. If they can't handle your light, to hell with them. This playing small business, trying to get along, trying to blend and harmonize in certain spaces in order to keep the peace and make it even flowing. No. Can't do it. If getting along with them means you having to deny pieces of yourself, well then you won't be getting along with them. Because the thing about it is this, always going along to keep the peace starts a war inside of you. It starts a war, and it leads to so many resentments. You know, because here you are trying to take care of their feelings, and you're wondering why they're not doing the same for you. Why? Because you know something, nobody's responsible for your feelings. That's what you have to realize. No, none of us are responsible for nobody's feelings. We are responsible for expressing our truth. We have to take ownership of our role, which is to articulate our needs. You know, we have to articulate our needs. We can't wait on other people to identify and articulate our needs for us. That we can. And so I have to remind myself of that often, because I realize that I grew up always trying to take care of other people, hoping that they would take care of me, you know? And you can't do that. You can't do that. And there's so many people out there that do that. They stay in toxic relationships hoping that if they take care of their partner, give their partner what they need, then their partner will in turn give them the same thing. So, but once again, you're relying on somebody else. You're relying on their awareness. You're relying on their kindness. You're relying on their generosity. And once again, you don't even know if they're in that space to provide you with what you need. But you keep on pouring, 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 hoping that someday they'll give you what you need, instead of pouring that into you, being the need that you need. Be the need that you need. For example, if you know you need a listening ear, Talk to yourself and listen to yourself and write. Write down your thoughts because that page is your listening ear. That pen in your hand is that listening ear and that voice giving you counsel. Be the care and concern that you want from everyone else. You have to be that. And get used to being that. So that way when someone else comes along trying to give you less, you're not hearing it, because my thing is this. I give myself the love, attention, acceptance. So anyone that's trying to come along and give me less, I can't go for that. Can't do it. Your spirit naturally is offended by that and it rejects it instantly. As you begin to love and pour into yourself and not look for external validation, not look for external fulfillment from other people, and you come back home to yourself and start to give those things to yourself, the less that you feel the need to try and please other people, you know, because you're doing it. You're doing it on your own. And that's what it boils down to. It's about you filling your cup up. Stop relying so much on everybody else. You doing what you need to do for yourself. And that's what it boils down to. And I think it's essential. I think it's very, very essential to fill yourself and stop holding space for everybody else. Because when you hold all this space, you get bitter, you get hostile, you get resentful, and it's not healthy. You know, speak your truth. Who cares what they think? Who cares what anybody thinks? Because at the end of the day, all these people that you care about, what they think of you and how they feel, they don't really love or see or care anything about you. They don't really value you whatsoever. And here you are, caring about them when they don't give a damn about you. It's pointless. You know, and while you may have been a child and that may have served a purpose back then, and that may have been instrumental in keeping you safe and alive, it has outlived its usefulness. It is no longer an effective coping strategy, an effective tool on getting your needs met, so you're gonna have to let it go. I think oftentimes as children, we play small in order to survive childhood, especially if you grew up in a traumatic home and a traumatic background with adverse childhood experiences. You definitely play small as a coping strategy. And it's a trauma response, truth be told. This playing small is how you survive. But as you get older, you survive by using your intellect. You survive by using your strength. You survive by pouring into you. You survive by articulating your needs and standing up for yourself. That's how you survive. You survive by making sure you know the remedies, the consequences, by erecting firm boundaries. What happens when they do this? What is the consequence? Make sure that you have the remedies in place. Because people really, to be honest, adults, they're like children. They need discipline. They do something wrong, they cross the boundary. What are the consequences? Well, the consequence could be you no longer dealing with them, you utilizing other resources, you know, and strategies to actually get them in order and get them in line. You have to make sure that you're utilizing those remedies to protect yourself, you know? But once again, stop holding space for people that don't hold space for you. Stop willingly being somebody's sounding board, somebody's receptacle, their trauma container. You no longer have to do that. And so I hope that this video was helpful, especially to all those who identify as passive, who struggle with asserting themselves, who feel guilty asserting themselves. So that's another thing. Oftentimes we feel like, oh, we're mean, we're being mean to other people. No, asserting yourself is the best thing for you. it's being kind to you. Every time you assert yourself, you're saying to yourself, I'm being good to you. I'm being kind to you. I'm showing you the loving kindness and attention that you need and that you have come to expect from everybody else. You know, you're no longer trying to find the things in others that you have already within yourself. You know, you're looking, because that's what it feels like, a scavenger hunt. You're looking for the things you need in other people that really are already in you. You know, so begin to search inward for those things and stop relying so much on outside approval, because a lot of people, truth be told, they don't even like themselves. And if they could leave themselves, they would. In fact, a lot of people do. A lot of people just check out on life because they don't like themselves. They have low self-worth, low self-esteem. So here you are searching for validation from people who don't even like themselves. You're always going to come up empty-handed. You're always going to be frustrated and reactive, emotionally reactive, when you keep on searching for something that you have inside yourself in someone else. Can't do it. So, disconnect from emotional reactivity by doing more for yourself, by asserting your needs and standing up for yourself and protecting yourself. Because you have a right to protect yourself. You deserve protection like everybody else. You deserve love like everybody else. Time to wake up. Time to stop living that 6-year-old mindset. Time to step into your power, because that is your power. That is what will keep you safe. So I hope that this video was helpful for those who identify as passive, for those who continue to try to hold space for other people, thinking that they're forging a connection with someone, when really what they're doing is betraying themselves. Stop betraying yourself. Start holding space for yourself and filling yourself up. So that way you don't rely on nobody else. So once again, this is Lewis Speaks 2023. Wishing everybody a wonderful, wonderful 2023. Peace, y'all.